It's Steel City live here on Mic Drop Sports. As always, I'm your host, Jason. We're starting a little bit early tonight, a couple minutes early tonight, so we'll give it a little bit of time. As always, again, put your comments, questions, and concerns inside of the live chat. Also, make sure you double tap that screen, hit that like button, and send us out into that YouTube algorithm. I truly appreciate all of your support here as of late. It has been awesome. Thank you so much. Again, we are going to dive into some Pittsburgh Steelers talk, and the talk now is this. You need to use that tight end room. You need to come away with some big plays in that tight end room for sure. Downtown, what's up? And you need to come away and beat the shit out of Lamar Jackson. And that might offend some. Some people might not like that. But guess what? The time for talk is over. The time for bullshit is over. And the Pittsburgh Steelers need to beat the living shit out of Lamar Jackson on Saturday. And they need to send a message to the AFC after that loss against the Eagles. They need to send a real message that they are for real and that they are done playing games. And again, the talk is over. And I'm still excited about this football team. They had their opportunities to win. They beat themselves against the Eagles. It's an NFC game. It is what it is. They beat themselves more than I think the Eagles beat them. And it is what it is. And I gotta say, I truly believe you see a fired up football team regardless of who puts on the black and gold Saturday, regardless of what happens in terms of other games that have been before this or what had happened. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to come out and they are going to send a message to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And I think it is going to be a knockout, drag out fight like it always is. Again, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button for us here on Steel City Live. Again, the theme of tonight is beat the shit out of Lamar Jackson and beat the shit out of the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday and send that message to the AFC that the Pittsburgh Steelers are here and are for real here moving forward. Yes, absolutely, downtown. The tight ends have to be it, man. What's up, Inger? Yes, Inger, I know you're going to say that the Ravens got to do that to the Steelers. But you know this, Inger, too. And I appreciate the Baltimore fans, and I know some of them might not like what I have to say with that. But this is that rivalry. And when it's Ravens week, when it's Steelers week for the Ravens fans, you put all that aside and you just say to yourselves, I hope they beat the living shit out of each other kind of deal, and you're rooting for your side. And after that, though, I got to say this. I respect the Baltimore Ravens. I respect the Baltimore fans. I do, because it is a rivalry. It is a divisional rivalry that has meant so much for years, and you have to have that mutual respect. But when it's Ravens week, all that goes out the damn window, and it's time to get fired up, and it's time to really bring the hammer if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Daniel Rodriguez, we need to beat the Ravens, bro. Absolutely. Inger, no, Ravens need to beat the Steelers. We had a lot of opportunities to come back to. Yeah, the Steelers had their chances. The Steelers did, but we're flushing that. This is week 16. This is the chance to take the AFC North crown. This is the chance to get a home playoff game. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, this means everything. Everything you've worked for all season, all summer, all the blood, sweat, and tears come into this moment right here. This is this moment right here. Everything culminates into this moment. And I know there's bigger goals, and I know there's things that are farther out there that we want to reach if you are Steelers fans, if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. But right now, this is the most important thing that you got going. And if you don't take care of business now, it's all for naught. It's all for nothing. You did everything for nothing. This is the moment, man. And if you can't get juiced the fuck up for this, you can't get juiced up for anything. Let's keep getting back into the chat. Again, double tap that screen. Hit that like button for us here on Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason. As always, we are diving in here on Ravens Week, here on a Tuesday on Steel City Live. Good to see you, Danny George. Robert Road in the house. Tomlin does best against the teams that he knows. Yeah, and you need that familiarity, I believe, with Mike Tomlin, and I agree with what Robert says there. You have to have that familiarity if you're Mike Tomlin in certain situations, and whether that's good or bad, I'll leave that up to you guys. But it's tough sometimes. Downtown says, yeah, I know the dead horse of how the ref holes did us into. I don't know when all of a sudden I get this, and and Steelers Nation isn't going to agree with me. And Jason, I'm going to give it to you with reality. I'm going to give it to you with truth. The refs aren't out to get the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate to say that. They're a cornerstone franchise of the NFL. The refs aren't out there to do damage to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate to say that, and I know a lot of fans are salty, and I agree. The officiating is bad, but I got to say this. The officiating is bad everywhere across the league. It's just not the Steelers. It's just not that game. It is bad consistently. If one thing the NFL does consistently, it's fucking sucky refereeing out there. They have sucky referee crews. That's one thing that they do with certainty each and every week, and that's all across the board. The refs aren't out there to take the Pittsburgh Steelers out, because honestly, it would be foolish for them to do that, to be honest. Again, because they are a cornerstone franchise. They have one of the most, probably, if not the biggest, one of the biggest fan bases in the entire NFL, and it would behoove them to have the Pittsburgh Steelers in the mix. Now, I do believe this. I think sometimes they twist and turn things to help push their narrative a little bit, but they in no way, shape, or form want the Pittsburgh Steelers to be out of this race. They in no way, shape, or form want this race to dull out, especially since they have AFC Hard Knocks right now being filmed. They want this race to come down to the wire, man, and they might get that, but they are no way out to get the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know George Pickens' comments kind of fueled that today. And I didn't like that from George. I think George Pickens needs to learn this. Keep your fucking mouth shut, George. Keep your fucking mouth shut. That's what you need to do, bro. I don't know when these athletes, all of a sudden, these professional athletes become so entitled, so full of themselves that we think that their fucking opinion matters, because it doesn't. All I want them to do is go out and play and do what they are paid to do, and that's win games. I don't want to hear your bullshit. I hate that from professional athletes. I don't want to know your social stances. I don't want to hear your mouth. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Shut the fuck up and come and be prepared and do your damn job. That's what I want to see each and every week. And I know that may chap people's ass too. But again, guys, I'm not doing anything for you if I'm not giving you the reality. If I'm not giving you the truth, I'm not doing any good doing this show. And again, I want everybody to sound off. I want you to give your opinions. I do. I love your opinions. I love everything about your opinions. But I got to give the reality of how I see it too. Inger says, biggest rivalry in the world, but I think the Ravens win this one. John Broadway, good. Danny George, you guys are talking back and forth. All right, let me just cipher through a little bit. Steelers fans, no matter what, win or lose, baby, absolutely, man. And yeah, it's tough. And George did practice today, Danny George. He looked pretty good, actually, off to the side doing some of those drills. So maybe that's promising for him, Daniel Warman in the house. Jason, is the Steelers' offensive line healthy? It could be worse. Just think how us Bengals fans feel. Bless you, buddy. Good to see you, Daniel, as always, my friend. Bless you and your family, my friend, as always also. But I got to say this, the Steelers did make a practice squad move today, bringing John LeGlue in. And what that move means for the Steelers, guys, is this. They know what is approaching. That is what? That is a run into the playoffs. So they are going to start adding depth in certain situations in terms of the practice squad, like a John LeGlue, because you're going to need offensive linemen that can be good to serviceable if called upon. And that is exactly what the addition of John LeGlue is. And that doesn't necessarily mean injuries either, my friends. That means this. You can't mess up. This isn't the time right now. Once these playoffs get going, it's win and go home, or win and keep going, or lose and go home. That's how this all rolls, and you can't afford a loss. And if somebody isn't playing up to standard, you got to make a move. You got to figure something out, and that's what these types of moves are, insurance policies. So I wanted to touch base on that John LeGlue move today because he has been with the Steelers before. Inger, tight ends mean a lot to teams, though. Yeah, tight ends mean so much, Inger, and they mean a lot to the Baltimore Ravens and what Lamar Jackson does. And you see that, Inger, when you watch your team week in and week out, when you have guys like Mark Andrews. You see how valuable those guys are in the big moments, and that's where the Steelers are going so wrong, my friends. That's where they've went a stray here. And I've had people, Mark Malone, you put in there that Russ wasn't tall enough to throw over the middle of the field, and I can see why you say it. I can, but I got to say this. I've seen Russ do it time in and time again. And I got to say, I think I have faith in him to do it. I think it's more of a schematic thing, getting these guys in the correct position to be open. And again, you can't go out there and shoot yourself in the damn foot, dude. And I understand that there were 2 wrongs in Philadelphia in the Darnell-Washington play. I understand that. But if you're Darnell, you just got to stop. You can't do those things. If you're Broderick Jones, you can't do those things. The people that have been in those scrums in the past, you can't do those things at this time of the year. Good football teams don't do that shit. They don't self-inflict wounds. They don't beat themselves. Good football teams don't do that. And I have to start seeing that discipline from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I have to start seeing it now. And we should have seen it in Philadelphia. We should have seen it weeks prior. This is too far into the season for bonehead dumb mistakes. Bonehead dumb mistakes get you beat, especially in the playoffs when you're playing good teams. And there's too many good teams in front of the Steelers right now to jeopardize anything by shooting yourself in the foot, because honestly, you don't have a high-powered enough offense to overcome those situations. You have an offense in which you have to remain in the game by playing solid, sound, fundamentally sound football with good skill sets in terms of being able to keep your composure. All right, guys, double tap that screen. Hit that like button for us here on Steel City Live. Let me get a drink. I'm your host, Jason, as always. Welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you for joining us. We need just a little over 200 to hit that 4,000 subscriber mark, so let's make sure we get that tonight, and that only happens by you guys doing what? Hitting that like button and sharing the show out there to the YouTube algorithm. We so much appreciate it. Robert Rhodes says Steelers not losing back-to-back games. I don't think so either, Robert, and that's something that I can feel really confident in. I don't see the Steelers coming out and losing 2 games in a row, especially with the season that they've been able to put together thus far. And I know everybody, the first loss there is after a few wins, or there's a little bit of a bumpy road. They want to bench people. They want to cut people. That's the answer for everything, and that's a loser's mentality. The mentality that needs to happen is what? Get your hard hat on and get to work. This is the black and blue division. This is the division of hard-working, middle-class type fans, and that's what we want to see our teams do. Get to work. Get in the lab. Put your hard hat on. Not just stumble and give up. We don't want to see that shit and just getting rid of people and being crazy with moves. That doesn't win championships. That doesn't keep your team consistent. And thank God the Steelers have been a steady enough franchise to realize that. And if they listen to the fan base 90% of the time, you wouldn't have 6 Lombardi trophies sitting in the South Water Street trophy case. Inger says, hold on. Jason, my prediction for how far Steelers make it in the playoffs is probably losing the divisional round. It could happen, man. Definitely, you guys that come in this chat every day, and I gotta say this, and it's all of you guys that are in here every day and you're talking football, you do know what you're talking about. And any time that I clap back against you, it's just for conversation. It's not that Jason doesn't think people know football or Jason doesn't like your comment. It's just conversation and generating the conversation that needs to be had. Now, sometimes people make some stupid comments that aren't our regular people, but we handle that accordingly. Daniel Rodriguez, one hundo. Inger says, and the reason the Ravens beat the Steelers is the Steelers don't have George Pickens and Minkah Fitzpatrick fell off. George will be playing this Sunday. I'm confident in that. I feel real confident about that. This game, I feel like you have all your players. And I have to disagree about the Minkah Fitzpatrick fell off comment. Yes, Minkah doesn't make those splash plays anymore, but people don't even throw in the vicinity of him usually. Now, he has had some bad moments this year where he's given up some easy passes, but you got to remember where he's coming from, usually covering those people from 20 yards across the field. But that's neither here nor there. But the presence of Minkah Fitzpatrick is felt, and if he weren't in the lineup, you would definitely feel that presence being absent. And he is definitely a major contributor. I'm not going to say that he fell off in any way. If you really turn on the tape and you look at what Minkah does down in, down out, you could see his contributions. It's just maybe you got to be a little bit more of a football purist to understand what he's doing maybe and double check and triple check the tape. It's not going to just pop out to you just watching the game, you know what I mean, the first time. You really got to look at it to see what Minkah's doing. And yes, he could have more big plays, and I give you guys that, but I don't think he's fallen off. But I think George will play, even if he isn't involved in 100% of the offensive snaps. I do think George Pickens is there. I think he is involved. I think he does require attention no matter how maybe gimped he is a little bit with his hamstring, but I don't think he would be too gimped if the Steelers do put him out there. He looked good at practice today off to the side. Joshua Shields, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Steelers Nation. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Good to see you, Joshua. BG Easy 03. I believe in Russell Wilson hitting his prime right now. I wouldn't call it his prime, but he's hitting something. I still believe in him easy, too. I believe in Russell Wilson because of his veteran presence, his leadership, his ability to understand defenses, his ability to really calm the offense in big moments. I know what happened in Philly. I get it, and those games happen. I understand what happened in Cleveland in the snow globe game. I get that. I understand those things, but Russell Wilson has 2 losses since becoming the Pittsburgh Steelers starter, and in both of those games, he had opportunities to win. He drove the team down, and sadly, mistakes were made, and they weren't made by Russell Wilson. And I don't know why people all of a sudden out there in Steelers Nation think Russell's so bad. Because did Russell fumble the football down in Philadelphia? Was that Russell or was that Najee Harris? Did Darnell and Calvin get that personal foul penalty down at the goal line inside the 1 or at the 1 is where they would have been set up? Was that Russell Wilson or was that those guys? I'm just saying the opportunities were there. And it doesn't matter if Russell Wilson puts up 400, 500 yards passing each and every single week. That's not what you're looking for if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's not the type of football they play. I hate to break it to people, but definitely Russell puts his football team in opportune, prime situations to win. And he's not losing the games for anybody. He has not lost a game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm not sure why there are fans out there that want to continually say that that's the case, because that makes me know this. I don't think you really understand what is going on, and I hate to say that, but that's the truth. Downtown, Jason, yes, I mean that the refs aren't doing their jobs in replay and the unknown face in New York. I agree, John. Absolutely agree with your comment. In no way, shape, or form was I dogging your comment, brother. What I was commenting on is these referees are just bad across the league. And when today George did those referee comments, all that's going to do is put a target on his back. It was a stupid thing to say. It was dumb to say. It was meaningless because it wasn't true, and it was just something out of frustration that I know George said, but he's got to learn how to be an adult, and I don't want to hear people say that he's young, he's, just a young guy in the league. Yeah, well, he's been in the league a few years now, and it's coming time to earn that big contract. And if you can't get yourself under control, if you can't control your emotions, I'm not sure if that's a guy I want around my franchise. I'm sorry. And I think that has to be addressed. And if he can't fix that soon, and very, very soon, I start to question George Pickens, because there are a lot of talented receivers out there. I know George has exceptional, above level talent, but I'd rather go out there and find a committee of those guys, young guys, that can control their emotions, that I can rely on in big games not to open their mouth and get a personal foul penalty. That's what I would probably rather do if George can't learn to keep his mouth shut. Plank says overrated. Not sure what you're talking about. You got to come with better comments than that. Playing Sharks. That way I know what you're talking about. Again, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen for us here on Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason, as always, right here on Mic Drop Sports, your home for Steelers coverage. Make sure you join us each and every day for our live shows and our daily uploads. We also put out shorts. I haven't put out as many shorts as of late, and I should. Because they usually do well, but if I don't have a good one I want to put out, I don't do it. See Steelers in the house. Give me an NFL player. Pick one. Russell Wilson. There you go. Daniel Rodriguez just subbed to your channel now. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Mark Collins in the house. Clearly against the Eagles, they did screw the Steelers on that call in the end zone. Clearly Slay was throwing the punches. I agree, Mark. I agree. But this league is not out to get the Steelers, guys. You can't have that mentality. It would drive you crazy. And I'm saying this out of love and trying to help, because if you think that way, it's just going to dig at you. It's going to drive you crazy. Every little single call, you're going to nitpick. Every single call, you're going to be like, are they trying to get us? Or is this a conspiracy? And you can't live like that, man. It's not no fun to watch the games, you know? That's why I say what I say. Robert Rhodes says, I wonder how much the NFL players talked back in the 1970s when I was a kid. The biggest thing I heard was when Hollywood Henderson saw Bradshaw, couldn't spell cat if he was spotted the C and the A. That was a good one. I don't think the talking was like it is today. I think it's a little out of hand. And again, I don't want to hear about a professional athlete's social stances. I don't want to hear his opinions. I want him to shut up and play ball. I want that player to shut up and play whatever sport you're being paid to play. I don't want to hear your bullshit. And I have to say this. The media is to blame for these players speaking up so much. The media is to blame for it. 1,000%. When you need so much access week in and week out to just, you have to cover these players every day. You want to interview them every day like there's going to be a new fucking answer from the day before, You want to have all these press conferences, media availability. You want to get to see every fucking practice. You want to do all this shit. You want to be so far up this team's ass that you can't find good schematic shit to talk about. You got to try to stir up and drum up drama. You got to try to put these players on edge and make an uncomfortable feeling to get that next clickbait story that you want to put out there to make money off of. I understand it, but we created these monsters and we need to stop it and really learn about what? Learn about the game and talking about the schematics of the game, the game plan of the game, the actual real nuts and bolts of what makes football tick. That's what's important, man. That's what's important. Not this bullshit that they want to put down your throats. Not this 24 hours bullshit of media coverage just drumming up drama. I don't like that. Let's talk about schematics. Let's talk about what a team needs to do in order to be successful. Like this week against the Ravens. What do the Steelers need to do? Offensively, they need to utilize that tight end room in a big way. And what? The offensive line better show the fuck up. Also, they need to do what? They need to beat the shit out of Lamar Jackson on Saturday. You do those things, you win the game. Also, what do you need to do special teams wise? You change nothing. Continue to be excellent on special teams. Continue to create turnovers on special teams. Continue to be excellent with Chris Boswell. Continue to watch Justin Tucker fail. That's what you need to do. Let's keep going. Jeff May, I totally agree with you. Keep their mouth shut and take care of business. Amen, baby. Amen. I agree. Thank you, Jeff. Make sure if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button for me. Double tap that screen. Make sure you are liking this show. If you don't double tap, you can hit 3 little white dots up on the right-hand corner of your screen if you have it, and that will bring down the like box. Also, the drop box for the like, you can hit it there. But make sure you are sharing the show. Again, we appreciate all the likes, shares, and super chats over the last few days. We have been greatly appreciative of those, and you guys are the best community in all of YouTube. Robert Rowe Bradshaw shut up Henderson with 4 TDs and won the Super Bowl MVP as our Steelers beat the Cowboys 35-31. The heyday, baby, of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love it, man. I love it. DJ Thomas, I watched 3 games again where Najee had his 100-plus yard games. It sure seemed like the pass set the run up. Now it seems like they're trying to run to set up the pass. It's not working. Am I wrong? You're not wrong, DJ. You are exactly right. They use the action game. They utilize that pass game to set up the run. And sometimes you have to do that. And Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith, I think, are just so hell-bent and stubborn on this. We are the Steelers shit. We are going to just run it down your throat. We're going to run it on 3rd and 9. We're going to pitch it to Najee Harris or Cordell Patterson. We're going to leave Jaylen Warren on the best bench, who is the best running back on this team. They're so hell-bent on being that to identify as the Pittsburgh Steelers of the past that they are too stupid to understand and recognize what's going on here in the present day. And that's what I think is going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you have to utilize that pass game to lean back that defense, put them on their heels, create a box and a defensive front in which you can run into. And sometimes that does require to use the pass game to set up the run, the action game to set up the run. Yes, you have to do that, and you're not crazy, DJ. You are exactly spot on with those performances. But isn't it sad that during that 3-game stretch, once that 3-game stretch concluded, I said about Najee Harris here on the channel, I said, we gotta love what Najee's doing, because 3 games in a row, that showed a lot of consistency. That showed the thing that he had been lacking the most, which is consistency. And then he's just totally fell off the map. And that's inexcusable for a guy that was picked in the first round of the NFL draft. A guy that they put so much stock into, a guy that's playing for a contract. Has to be better, my friends. Has to be better. And people beat me up all offseason because I said that it wasn't wise for the Steelers to give him a contract. But yet everybody said that I was wrong. I don't think so. I don't think that I was wrong there. I think he still has a lot to prove to be a top-paid running back in this league. They are a dime a fucking dozen. I hate to tell you that, guys. Average guys like Najee are a dime a dozen. And that's just the facts, Jack. And Jaylen Warren, I hate to tell everybody this too, is the best running back on this football team, hands down. But doesn't get the opportunities. It's just it's a sad case. It is what it is, but it's the case. Orlando Smith, the tides have turned, buddy. I don't know what is that, an Oriole? Are you putting a Baltimore Oriole up there? Your team's a Raven, if you're talking about the Ravens. Mark Collins, I clearly see their wide receivers just don't move and get separation. Facts. They do not scheme their receivers to get open. They start every series with a running play, a stretch play. Amen. Mark, you're not wrong, man. You are not wrong. That's why I said when you're coming out in those 12, 13 personnel sets, use the fucking tight ends every once in a while. Throw the football out of that set. Don't be so predictable. Don't be so plain and generic, man. Don't run the ball on 2nd and 9 every damn time. Don't run the ball on 1st and 10 every single time. Incorporate the action game. Incorporate those spread formations. And I don't want to hear George Pickens is out, any of that bullshit. You can still spread it out. You still have the personnel. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. You can't be plain and predictable. All right, guys, double tap that screen. Hit that like button for us here on Steel City Live. America's favorite live show is right here on Mic Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason, as always. Again, I appreciate all the likes, all the super chats, all the support you guys have given us. It's been awesome. I wanted to mention this yesterday, or today. I hung this flag up, and Russ sent me that flag, but I didn't realize that yesterday I hung it up backwards. So if I look at this flag, it is backwards to me when I look at it. But I did that out. It ended up being right because you guys can read it. And I didn't realize that I actually did something stupid that I was like, oh, I messed that up. But when I thought about it, I was like, oh, no, they can see it on camera. It actually works out. So I just mentioned that was like some weird thing that I did. But anyway, guys, I'm fired up today. I got the flag ready for stupid morons. Throw the flag on them. So I did go over to the windowsill and pick it up after throwing it and hitting a window the other night. And this son of a bitch is filled with BBs. So this thing, I shouldn't throw it toward the window because it could break the window. Hear that thing hit? It's full of BBs, and it could rock somebody. This is what I think the refs should fill their flags with, BBs. I got a big stack of them. I can fill up all their flags and hit people that are players in the head and be like, here, don't do it again, and smack them. Man, they get beat up. They'd be bruised because they throw about 5,000 penalty flags a game. Oh, see, Steelers, I don't do those, buddy. Sorry, man. I can't give you that answer. Mark Collins, I believe we win 27-21. Mark Collins, I do think if Howard is healthy, they should kick those tires for the playoffs. It's one of those things. They're going to load up here the best they can with what they can in terms of practice squad moves and things of that nature because everybody's going to become an asset when you make a deep playoff run. C. Steeler says, before Russell Wilson started playing, I thought he would be a bust. A lot of people did, but and a lot of people still doubt Russell Wilson, and I don't know what more he has to do in order to prove that he is an elite quarterback at the NFL level. He's been played in a couple Super Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been ultra competitive inside of the playoffs. He has excellent statistics. He's a dominant force out there, and Russell Wilson definitely deserves his accolades, and he's going to hopefully have a lot of success here to finish out his career in the city of Pittsburgh as the lead guy in the quarterback room. Mark Collins says Fitzpatrick has definitely lost a step, but he is still a top 5 safety. What hurt the Steelers was Deshaun Elliott not playing. He is our best secondary player. Mark, I got to agree. Deshaun Elliott this season has been the most recognizable, the most impactful player in the secondary for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have to say that hands down. Down in, down out. Deshaun Elliott has been the best. And again, if you recall the offseason, we talked about Deshaun, and when he got picked up by the Steelers, we kept saying it over and over. A lot of you in the chat also were saying it. He was going to be a star. He fits perfectly into this system. He was the right guy to bring in, and Deshaun Elliott is definitely that guy. And not having him is a major, major, major impact, guys, and it can be felt. DeMonte KZ can't hold Deshaun Elliott's jockstrap. DeMonte KZ is a fraction of what Deshaun Elliott can provide out there on that football field. Deshaun Elliott is a mean and nasty human. He will destroy folks out there, and he's done it all year long. And getting him back is so, so important to the Pittsburgh Steelers' success here in 2024. Inger says, I think Ravens' big move that would shock everybody is pick up Odell Beckham Jr. for the cut. And cut Deontay Johnson because Deontay Johnson is starting to look like Antonio Brown 2.0 from what he's doing. I I don't know what's going on with DJ. I'm glad he got out of Pittsburgh. That's just my opinion. I miss having a real true number 2 guy on the football team, but it is what it is. Sometimes addition by subtraction is the best way to go. Odell Beckham Jr., though, man, he's a headache also. His injuries are just, it's just ridiculous. It's hard to keep him on the field. So that's a dice roll, Inger. That's a dice roll. I see, though, what you're saying. Let me get a drink, guys. God damn, I've been going hard today. Man, it feels good to be alive today. It just feels good, baby. Mark Collins, the Steelers want to be a power running game, but not one of their offensive linemen are suited to play the power running game. Facts. The only 2 linemen that fits that power game is Frazier and McCormick. I feel like they definitely do. I feel like Broderick Jones, though, if you look at him, what is his strength? What made him good last season? And these are facts. He manhandled his players. It wasn't technique and skill. It was aggression. And what was he best at doing? Downhill running last year. That was his ability. And that's what he leaned on. That was his excellent trait that he had, last year. So I think he can do it. I think Isaac Seumalo has that ability. He did it in Philadelphia a lot with what they did in the run game. And Dan Moore Jr. Has not been horrible this year, but in the last couple weeks, I thought he's got owned a little bit. He's been not as good as he was at the beginning. I thought he had a solid season so far, but I think they can do it. But I think you need to not be so one-dimensional is what I think. When you talk about power run game, I think what you need to talk about if you're the Steelers is making teams believe that that's what you want to come out and do all the time, but utilize some other play packages in order to start to make the defense guess. And I think if you can't do that, you're dead in the water. And I think that kills anybody because there are no offensive linemen that can block 8 guys in the box and be effective, Not with Najee Harris running back there, you know what I mean? He's not Barry Sanders. He doesn't have that burst. He doesn't have that acceleration. They have to hold their block too long. He tries to be an odd version of Le'Veon Bell at times, and he's not nowhere near athletic like Le'Veon Bell was. Najee Harris doesn't understand what he is, and that's a power runner. And if he doesn't understand that and doesn't really start to hit the hole squarely and come downhill, he'll never be effective. And when he does do that in the game, those are the runs that he succeeds at. When he tries to be Najee who gets to the edge or tries to juke people all over the place, he's not successful. And Najee trying to hurdle people, that's not his game. He needs to understand what he is, and that is a between the tackle, run downhill, square your shoulders up, and hit the line of scrimmage with burst and acceleration and force and violence. That's what kind of player he needs to be. That's the player that would make him successful. That is the type of player he needs to be to get paid. I'm not saying that the refs have missed so many bad calls, not just against the Steelers. It's so bad across the league. It's not, yes, it's definitely not against just the Steelers. It's just the NFL refereeing product is absolutely dog shit, my friends. And the rules, guys, we have to understand this too. This all isn't on the referees. This is on the rules committee also. One Mike Tomlin sits on that committee, and I'll remind you all of that. But that rules committee that puts these new rules in that you can't touch any fucking buddy. You can't hit anybody. Everything's a personal foul. Everything's an issue. That's ruining the game. And we can't just blame the NFL leadership in New York for that. The rules committee does those and votes on those and talks about those and reviews them and passes them and puts them in front of the league. That's who does that. So, they should be bearing some of the blame for this. Downtown John Broadway says, if Tomlin is so player-oriented and works a player to their hopeful potential, then why are we hearing Pickens? Good question. Good question. Definitely you wonder why that he still hasn't been able to reel him in. But this is another thing. Some people just aren't teachable. Some people are just so brain dead that they aren't able to comprehend the simple things. Some people are just so stupid that they can't understand simple, easy tasks. And that seems to be the case with some of these boneheads. All right, guys, double tap that screen. Hit that like button for us here on Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason, as always, only here on Mic Drop Sports. Again, I'm working on a guest. Hopefully we have somebody next week that you guys will probably know and you all probably love. So hopefully that all works out. We'll see. But once I find out for sure, we'll start advertising it a little bit and let you guys know what day that will be. But again, thank you for the shares, but double tap that screen. We got to get those likes up. 25 likes in 39 minutes is not enough. We need to get that shit moving. Let's pop those likes up. All you got to do is double tap the screen. It's free. It's fucking cheap, bitch. All right, let's keep rolling through the chat. Foot's Big in the chat. What's up? Downtown talking to Foot's Big. Inger says, what would you do if Russell Wilson and George Pickens reacted to you? I would just tell them this. It's the truth. And some people don't like the truth. I think Russell Wilson admires the truth. Now, George Pickens, I think, would be a crybaby about my comments, and he wouldn't be a man enough to understand the criticism that I give him. And understand this, that the criticism I give him isn't out of disrespect. It's out of respect to help him. It's out of respect to try to improve his overall performance as a man and a player inside of an NFL helmet and benefit the football team that I cover and that I root for. That's what he wouldn't understand that because he's probably a little bit too simple-minded to understand that. Now, Russell Wilson, on the other hand, I think admires truth, admires people that are honest and give real opinions about the situation at hand and don't try to sugarcoat it. And I think he is a man of character, a man of God that would actually respect that. But if they did, I would welcome them to come onto the show, and I'd be happy to talk X's and O's with them. I would love to do that, but they would have to be fair warned that Jason isn't going to be politically correct. There would be no censored questions here. There would be no, hey, you can't ask this, you can't ask that, don't pry into this. No, if you came here and you got asked questions, everything's fair game. That's just how I roll. But we'll see. I doubt that they would never give a regular guy like me the opportunity to do anything like that. They kind of keep that in their inner circle. That way they don't get asked the tough questions, and that's facts too. They don't want to come on these types of podcasts where truth is the leader, where truth is the king, where everything revolves around telling the truth. They don't want to do those things. They're going to go and give interviews to people, that are on ESPN and shit that, they'll write the script and hand them the script before and say, here, buddy, here's the questions we're going to ask you for this show. Are these okay to ask you? And if they're not, let's talk about it and let's figure out how we could ask you those during the interview. And they still stump them. But anyway, it is what it is. They'll go on those types of shows. They'll go talk to these national media personalities that don't watch the Steelers every day. They don't know this team intimately. They really have no clue. Half the time, they don't even know the fucking names of the players. But yet, they got all these amazing big comments and earth-shattering news to deliver each day about how the Steelers should play out there each and every week. How schematically they're doing this or that wrong. And it's like, well, you don't watch the football team. How could you accurately assess what they're doing? That type of shit annoys the living. It annoys the shit out of me. Trust me, I've messaged tons of players on social media, and I've only ever got a response from a player one time. Two times. I take that back. Merrill Hodge actually came on this show. So Merrill Hodge is a class act. He did come on here, and he is a very nice guy. His wife is very lovely, awesome to talk to. Their whole group. Merrill Hodge is probably the classiest guy I've talked to in the sports world so far in my short time being involved in it. But the only other player to ever answer me back is Ryan Clark. And Ryan Clark answered me back and was absolutely wonderful to me. He didn't have to answer me back, but he explained why he wasn't able, because I asked him to come on the show. He explained to me why his time, where his time is divided, what he's doing. He asked me how I was doing, asked me if I was well. Very respectful. I could even post it. I still have it because I was shocked that he even answered me. But absolutely respectable man. I have all the respect in the world for Ryan Clark, but most of these people will not even read your shit. They won't even acknowledge you. They ain't gonna do it. Now there are a lot that will, but I've probably not messaged those people. But the ones that I have messaged usually don't answer. And some of them you have to pay to come on. I ain't paying nobody to fucking come on a talk show. Fucking crazy. I gotta quit saying that F word, man. It's driving me bonkers. I don't even want to say it, but it keeps flowing out of my mouth. When I start to get heated and I start to get fired up and I start to get passionate about what I'm talking about, I feel like it just spews out. Only here, though, because I can talk like in front of people and do things like that and never say a curse word one. But, man, I get on here and I get fired up around you guys. You must make me feel real comfortable. All right, guys, we got to get those likes up. Double tap that screen. There's almost 50 of you watching right now. Let's make sure we're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button. It's cheap. It's free. It's easy. Make sure you do it. That's how you continue to have great content each and every day, brought to you by people that are honest, people that aren't the national media, people that aren't trying to make money off of your clicks. I don't make a ton of money off of this. I might make a couple $100 a month, maybe, off of this channel. So, yeah, it's not earth-shattering shit for me. I'm not trying to just get clicks, but I want to grow the community of like-minded individuals that love football, that want to come here each and every day, and that requires to hit the like button. That requires to share. That requires subscribing. Whew. All right, let's keep going. What video? See, Steelers, you can email it to me, MikeDropSports@yahoo.com. Mark Collins, that facts is these NFL players are so spoiled and soft. They couldn't play football back in the 70s, 80s football game. Hell no, they wouldn't survive. They're too soft. That's our fault, though, as the older generation of people, though. We've raised this soft fucking generation of slugs. Let's keep going. Downtown. This is why reporters are more about that shit-stirring BS about how they get themselves into popularity. Yeah, go on to Twitter, guys, and I gotta say this, and I don't care if somebody's on here that's one of these stupid accounts. You have these accounts that say, like, Justin Fields beta, Justin Fields fan club, talking all this shit. One today that I read was like Justin Fields, when he was in the game starting for his 4-2 record, he didn't lose any of those 2 games. It wasn't on his shoulders. Russell Wilson has lost you those 2 games. How in the world, if you've ever watched football this season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, any time that they've lost, if you could pin a loss on a quarterback, I don't know how you could do it because you're not watching the game, dude. None of these losses have been on these quarterbacks, guys. I hate to say that. That's not the truth. Because I would love to have an easy scapegoat to go pick. But these accounts only want you to click on them, and we all do. And that's what's stupid about it. You see outrageous comments, ignore them. Block those people. Don't even put them on your feed because they're dumb. DJ. Oh, hold on. Where was I? Yes, DJ Thomas says, Ravens are going to cut DJ. I think they're waiting till after the Steelers versus Ravens matchup. Think this offseason shows you what it is without Pickens. Should we consider him or take a chance on losing? I don't know what ifs is hard to speculate, DJ. Here's my thoughts on any wide receiver that's out there that could help the team. If there's anybody out there that can help the team, you have to look at him if you're Omar Khan. If you're the Steelers, you have to look at him. And that's just how I approach it. Whether it's bad blood in the past, whether it's some situation you don't like, if they can help this football team win a Lombardi in 2024, you have to take a look. You have to kick the tires. That's just my philosophy. And again, it's hard to speculate what ifs and possibles because those things, they're just really hard to envision. See, Steelers, we need to sign Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. Who do you think will re-sign? Najee Harris, I think, is solidifying that he won't be a Steeler. Jaylen Warren, I think, is, again, I'll say it and I'll keep saying it, is the best running back on this football team. Whether people want to understand that or not, it's okay. It's my opinion. I think Najee Harris is the most complete running back on this football team that gets the least amount of opportunity. When you're sharing snaps with fucking Cordell Patterson, who's not even a natural running back, there's an issue. There's a problem, and I think that the weird, odd fascination that Arthur Smith has with Patterson and McCole Pruitt is absolutely ridiculous. DJ Thomas, not off season, but injury to Pickens did to our passing. Oh, it definitely hurt, DJ. It definitely hurt, buddy. Joe Vlogs in the house. There's no one to throw it to. There's tons of people to throw it to. Tons. Calvin, Van, Scotty, Mike Williams, and this excuse is old for me. Oh, you don't know the system. That's why you don't get targets. Bullshit, dude. Bullshit. The Steelers schematically, when does it become a coaching issue? That's what I'm asking. When do the coaches have to shoulder the blame? When is there somebody out there that says the schematics suck and the fucking play calling blows, running tosses like a fucking third grade football team? I'm just saying, I don't even run tosses on my fucking youth football team. We run a more complex offense. We run a spread, 4 wide receivers, 1 side card back. We run that kind of offense at 9 years old and throw the ball all over the yard. I'm just saying, man. If Arthur wants my playbook, I'll give it to him. It's got about 155 pages of plays in there. He can go ahead and take a peek at it if he'd like. I hear you, Inger. I hear you. Theta 13, Warren is just fresher. What are you talking about? Najee Harris isn't even off his fucking first contract. What are you talking about, fresher? That's so dumb, dude. Shut up. You get a flag, bro. You get a flag on the play. Flag. Big time flag. DJ Thomas, a guy at work, always asks me what to do when things go wrong at work. I used to say back up and punt. Now I say just line up and pitch it. That's a good one, DJ. I love it, buddy. D, ready for another loss, Ravens flock. Hey, if you can come up with a time that Lamar Jackson has ever won you a big football game of meaning, if you can come up with that answer, I'll give you the fact that the Ravens could beat the Steelers on Saturday. But Lamar Jackson has never won a football game of any significance. Sorry, he hasn't. And this game is for the division title for the Steelers. Can Lamar Jackson actually win a big game? I'm going to say the chances are no. Just saying. Just saying. What's Lamar Jackson's record against the Steelers? What's the Ravens' record against the Steelers since 2020? The Steelers didn't even have to score a fucking touchdown against the Ravens and still beat them last game. And I don't want to hear it was because of Justin Tucker missing the field goals. Yeah, there's 4 phases to a football team. Special teams, offense, defense, and coaching. And when one of those fails, sorry, that's part of your team. Sorry. You lose, you lose. You win as a team, you lose as a team. Just saying. And no one wants to acknowledge special teams until it bites you in the ass and costs you football games. Ask a Baltimore Ravens fan how much special teams matters, because it's cost them football games. It's the reason that they have 5 losses is because Justin Tucker has failed them in 2024. West Virginia or Memphis? I don't watch college stuff. Sorry, buddy. John Broadway, downtown. Don't shoot your eye out, Jason. You'll shoot your eye out. I love that. I've watched that movie about 10 times already this holiday season, and I can't wait to watch it again. All right, guys, double tap that screen for me. I'm Jason, and I'm the host of this show, Steel City Live, America's favorite live show, to be honest with you, here on YouTube. If you love the Steelers, if you love the NFL, if you love sports, this is the place to be. We are hopefully going to expand this over the summer. My plans are to do baseball, hockey, probably never basketball. I coach basketball, but I've never been a big NBA guy. But I hope to expand this greatly this summer. There's a lot of big things in the works. I've been talking to a couple people actually behind the scenes that aren't going to be involved on camera, but maybe taking this thing to another level. So we'll see. Downtown, we did California. I lost the Falcon game yesterday. Yeah, it's tough betting on these games, man. Some weeks I'll go like 13-1, on the Pickens and shit. And then there's weeks I'll go like 9-5, which I did last week. But, for the majority of the weeks I go like 1 or 2 losses, It's tough, though. It's very tough to pick the spreads. That's what's hard. Picking them straight up isn't too bad. I can do that, but going on the spreads and shit, that is so hard, man. DJ Thomas, how come the NFL players are held to a high standard and expected to play perfect, but the refs can make bad decisions over and over and nothing? I agree, dude. The refereeing in this league is the worst out of all professional sports, man. And that's saying something because I think the hockey referees are bad too. Robert Road, Russell Wilson is going to have a bust in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely, Robert. I believe so too. Mark Collins, I believe the Steelers should sign Justin Fields and tag Wilson. My reason is Wilson outplayed himself money-wise. That's why I say sign Fields and tag Wilson. I don't think you can tag Russell Wilson. I don't think that's an option. I think that Russell Wilson's going to sign for a relatively cheap deal, guys, and I know a lot of people don't want to believe that too, but I believe Russell Wilson signs for $25 million a year. I really, truly believe that. I'm telling you. I think that he wants to win a Super Bowl, and I think he understands what he has to do in order to do that. And I think he's willing to take 25, 30 mil, and that is serviceable for me to have Russell Wilson in the building. That's just my opinion. Patrick Charles, I'm tired of the refs getting the calls wrong. The NFL has an in for Pittsburgh. No, Patrick, they don't, my friend. I can't agree with that, guys. And when that comment's put in here, I have to disagree with it. I have to. The NFL wouldn't be after one of its premier franchises, one of its cornerstone bookend franchises, one of the largest fan bases in the entire planet, man, for a sports franchise. They would never go after the Steelers and try to make them lose. I'm sorry. I can't get on board with that. Daniel Warman, I think Justin Fields should be involved in the game plan, maybe catching a pass. Do you think he's going next year? Thanks. I do think he goes somewhere else next year just because the Steelers aren't going to pay 2 quarterbacks, and Russell Wilson has pretty much told me, not told me, but showed me here in 2024 that I believe, in my opinion, I think that they pursue Russell and allow Justin to go make some money somewhere to be a starter. If I were Justin, I would stay another year with the Steelers and sign a very cheap deal and get another year of experience playing with a top-shelf franchise and possibly waiting around to possibly get that opportunity with a franchise of value instead of going to one of these shitty franchises that's in the cellar, that's just going to pay you a boatload of cash to come there, but put no weapons around you, put no coaches around you, put no scheme around you, put you in a bad situation to fail. And all you're going to do there is go there and make a couple years of a contract, and then they're going to find a way to get rid of you. That's just not a good move in my eyes. But we'll see how the offseason unfolds. I'm not thinking about the offseason yet. I'm thinking about this season, 2024. I'm thinking about the Pittsburgh Steelers going into Baltimore on Saturday and winning a fucking division title, my friends. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I want to see happen this week. I don't want to see the offseason just yet. I don't want to think about it because we got it all summer. We got all the rest of winter to talk about it once the season's over. We got all that time to speculate what this football team's going to do. But guess what? The time for success is right now. It's right here in front of us. It's what we've talked about all year long. It's what we've talked about over and over ad nauseum. The opportunity is here. It's right in front of our faces, guys. It's here. Let's go get it. And that's the mentality the Pittsburgh Steelers should have. And they should go out there and beat the shit out of Lamar Jackson and prove a fucking point to the AFC. That's what I want the Steelers to do. All right, guys, I got to go pick up my son from work. I've been going for about an hour, so if I missed your chat, I'm sorry. But everybody that's in there, welcome if I haven't talked to you yet. And thank you for joining us. Make sure you double tap that screen, hit that like button before we get off of here, before you leave the show. But I'm going to sign off again. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And if you really enjoy talking football, this is the place for you, man, on America's favorite live show here on Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason, as always. Again, we truly, truly appreciate all the help, and thank you for giving us so much success so far here in 2024, and we hope to continue to do that for many years to come. So thank you, and until tomorrow, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live. Peace, my friends.